Hey, what's up, guys? This is Benny Ricciardi with rotocurve.com, and I'm here with our DraftKings wide receiver week 17. There are four guys that we're going to be talking about, a couple up at the high end and a couple in the mid-range who we really like for this week. So let's call up the slideshow and talk about some of the guys that we're interested in and why we like them here. Oh, hold on one second. That wasn't the right one. The four guys we're going to be targeting are Odell Beckham at $9,000, Julio Jones at $8,500, Jeremy Maclin, and Brandon Cooks, who are both $6,400. The first guy we're going to talk about is Odell Beckham. He's back from his suspension in a high total game this week, faces a very weak Philly secondary that he should be able to do some damage against. The Giants run a high-paced, pass-heavy offense, and Philly also runs a high-paced offense. So we should see a lot of plays in this game and a good chance for outproduction for basically everybody on both rosters. Beckham was putting up 20 to 42 fantasy points a game in 7 straight games before his suspension. So I have no doubt that he's going to get back to that level of production here in a game that sets up pretty well for him. Next guy we're going to talk about is Julio Jones at 8,500. He's also favored in a huge total game this week. Faces one of the worst teams against the pass in the NFL in the Saints, and he's arguably the most talented wide receiver that we have in the NFL this year. He's put up double-digit fantasy points in every game but one, and he's averaging 8.5 catches and 115 yards per game, and as we know, he's always a touchdown threat as well. Oh, hold on a second here. Seems that we have a little bit of a technical difficulty. Let me call back up that spreadsheet so we can go through the next one. The next guy we're going to talk about, Jeremy Maclin, 6,400. Kansas City needs to win this game to have a chance to win their division. Maclin has scored double-digit fantasy points in each of his last 5 games. He's got 36 catches and 5 touchdowns in those 5 games as well. So he's not only scoring double-digit fantasy points, but he's smashing through it and putting up good value. He's one of the cheapest wide receiver ones that we're going to see this week. And with KC needing to win, I do think they're going to go to the air a little bit in this game. The last guy we want to talk about is Brandon Cooks at 6,400. He plays in a high total game with 52, and he's the underdog in that game. So there's a good chance that he should see some garbage time chances and be able to rack up some late catches and yards. He's averaging 5 catches and 75 yards per game receiving this season, and he had a slow start to the year. In his last 2 games, he's put up 15 catches, 247 yards, and 2 touchdowns with 1 in each game. So he is somebody that is getting a little bit more volume, getting a couple more looks, and is really putting up some big numbers lately. So that breaks it down for our wide receiver video. Those are the 4 guys who we think we should be targeting this week. There are going to be some cheap value options that you can use as well. Maybe looking at some of those wide receivers on Washington, maybe looking at a guy like Nate Washington for Houston with Cecil Shorts out. You know, there's always going to be some cheap guys. If you can find 1 or 2 of them and add them in with a couple of the guys who we mentioned here, we think you're going to have a chance for a big upside this week and, really good end to the regular season for NFL DFS. It's been a lot of fun covering, all 17 weeks of the season for you guys here. Thank you for joining us, as always, at rotocurve.com. And as always, stay classy, DFS.